That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Over. Give me your driver's license, registration proof.
It's a money grab.
Welcome back to Facts Over Feelings, brought to you by Support Our Shields, where we cut through the noise, expose the lies, and stand unapologetically with law enforcement. Today, we're shining a bright, unfiltered spotlight on a viral story that's making waves out of Jacksonville, Florida. The arrest of William McNeil Jr. And let me tell you right now, this case is another prime example of what happens when race hustlers, activists, and media lapdogs come together to smear law enforcement with lies for clout, cash, and chaos. Off rip, let's keep it real. William wasn't racially profiled, he wasn't brutalized, he is not a victim. He is a grown man who refused lawful commands, resisted arrest, and got exactly the response that type of behavior earns. But of course, here comes Ben Crump, the squad car chasing social justice profiteer, swooping in like the vulture that he is to try to spin this into a cash grab.
Show me the money.
Recently, the Jacksonville County Sheriff's Office released the full body cam footage. And guess what? It tells a completely different story than what Benjamin Chump and the race-baiting mob tried to sell to the public.
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
77, 35. I'm proper driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
If he recorded this part, he didn't post it. McNeil was pulled over because he was driving with his headlights off in poor weather, not wearing a seatbelt, and we find out that he has a suspended license, and oh yeah, in possession of marijuana.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Shocking.
All right, so earlier today, William McNeil and his attorneys, including Ben Crump, held a press conference. It was more shameless lies, but William did have some insightful things to say.
I was really just scared. And that's it.
All right, maybe not.
Shout out to Police Law News. They called it fishing for a lawsuit, and I call it the ghetto lotto. Why can't we follow the rules?
We got a problem. Black people got a problem.
What's the problem? I'll tell you what it is. I call it the racial grievance industrial complex, and it's been in full effect for over 4 decades. This ass clown resisted, argued, stalled, and escalated. And the officer responded with controlled force. And guess what? That's legal. I don't care if it makes you feel sorry. That's protocol. That's policing. I keep telling these ass clowns that around and find out is real. And this young scholar found out.
I'm like, there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's so.
And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
In the face.
Show me your hands.
In the face.
Yes, in the face.
We want to play stupid.
If you follow these simple pointers, you probably won't get your ass kicked by the police. First, obey the law.
One of the blessings about doing what I do with Support Our Shields is I have current and retired law enforcement officers all across the country that I can reach out to get over decades of knowledge from the people who lived it. Also, there's some great men who are former and current police officers like Brandon Tatum, Zeke Arkham, and Deion Joseph, who have built large followings on social media, cut through the BS, and give you a full breakdown from a cop's perspective. And that's so important because since social media became monetized, a lot of people are suffering from the same disease that infected the mainstream media decades ago: greed.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
But at the end of the day, opinions are just like buttholes. Everybody has one. You know the rest of that. And as for me, I'm going to go with the people who actually put their lives on the line day in and day out versus some social media armchair quarterback. And for any of you that want to put up or shut up and come from behind your little comfortable podcast studio, there are many departments that you can get connected with and go through some high-stress simulated situations. And let's see how well you do. Now, speaking of which, I love how Officer Tatum breaks down all of the red flags that took place before we ever get to the window being busted.
Fine, I think everybody should question these things and they should hear viewpoints, right? You know, subjectively, a person may think that it's not okay to strike people no matter what. Subjectively. Objectively,
correct,
you have to look at the law and the justification for use of force against people at any given time.
Correct.
The totality of circumstances, in my personal opinion, would lead an officer to have that leverage to say, if I believe that a face strike while I'm trying to pull a guy out of the car because he's non-compliant was justifiable for me to execute an arrest, an officer can utilize that force. He literally told him, no, I'm not doing anything you told me to do. He shut the door, locked it, and said, send your supervisor. I'm not doing anything. The cop told him 7 times, you're under arrest for obstruction. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You're under arrest for obstruction. Everything the officer did was according to the law. It wasn't even a violent interaction initially. Then when he turned the camera on, it already has escalated. They have police officers that have responded. They have 6 or 7 officers that have now responded because this guy's non-compliant. These situations become very violent quickly. If you've ever been a cop, cops know a guy could be doing all this because he's going to pull a gun out. He won't pull off on the traffic stop. He's a wanted murderer. You know, there's a lot of things that could be possibilities which will make officers heighten their suspicion when somebody's acting like this over a headlight infraction. But then when they pulled him out of the car, punching him in the face, it's not pretty, but we can utilize that level of force to execute an arrest. And you saw when he punched him in the face, when he was out of the car, he complied. So those things to the public may seem a little bit extreme, which I understand. But when you're a police officer and you deal with use of force every day, you realize a cop got to do whatever a cop believes is necessary to get this guy under control, because you don't know him.
Yeah, they pay the ultimate price for hesitation or making a mistake in assessing a situation. So for us to watch and say, shame on you, it's like, well, you know what? You don't see all the cops that were killed because they hesitated.
Because people have to watch these incidents in context, not edited clips that only show part of the story. And that brings me to what we all should have known would happen. The media ran with that clip, activists ran the church pulpits, and Ben Crump, he smelled a check. But let's talk about the real villains here. Number one, the media. Notice how they ID the race. You see, they always do that when they want to paint cops as racist. Notice they don't do that when it's a homicide committed by a black person. How many headlines would be different if they did that for all the murders that'll be committed this week by a demographic that makes up less than 8% of the United States population, but is responsible for 50% of the homicides every year? And this is why I celebrate every lawsuit President Trump wins against them. And I love that NPR and PBS have been exposed and defunded. And I hope CNN and MSDNC are soon to follow. because you suck. Number 2, the black community, who jump to scream racism before the facts are even out, and then ignore the facts and continue to push a lie. Look at these damn fools. Look at these damn fools protesting. Your freaking kids can't read or count. And like the whole world knows this. You want to protest something? Protest them failing schools that Democrats keep you trapped in. Protest the high crime in your neighborhoods. How about protesting the silence when black kids die from drugs and gang violence, not just when there's a badge involved? You ever thought about that? No. Perfect example. Look at the NAACP. They scream about white supremacy while standing shoulder to shoulder with Planned Parenthood, which has taken more black lives in 1 year than the KKK and every police officer combined in the history of America. Stop and think about that. Think about that.
That's how they all get you. They use the very thing that sits on the seat of your heart, your ethnicity, or whatever affinity group that you tend to be a group of. When they talk in these constructs and categories, that's how they're able to deceive you.
Number 3, the black church, full of a bunch of punk-ass pulpit pimps and boule backstabbers, trying to get camera time, hosting press conferences instead of teaching boys how to be men and girls to be godly wives.
Justice for William McNeil. Justice for William McNeil.
Justice for William McNeil.
Justice for William McNeil.
Justice for William McNeil.
Yeah. We have to stand up for our children. We have to speak up for our children, and we have to fight for our children.
But Florida has a police brutality problem. It's had a police brutality problem for a long time. And so as a native of the state of Georgia, whose mother is from Jacksonville, I know far too well of the brutality here in Jacksonville. And so what we are calling for is justice. This is not a war on police.
Let's talk about this staged press conference held at a Jacksonville church, more like a Sunday morning social club, complete with microphones, emotional family members, and false narratives that they continue to promote despite the release of the complete body cam footage. Instead of preaching truth and accountability, this church just platformed a bunch of lies and promoted more distrust in police that the community that church is in needs a lot more than where I am.
Jacksonville has one of the highest crime rates in the United States compared to communities of all sizes. In recent years, Jacksonville has consistently ranked among the top cities in the U.S. for violent crime rates. In 2023, the city recorded 122 murders, with a clearance rate of approximately 59%.
And shame on William McNeil Jr.'s parents too, because rather than raising a son who respects authority, they've helped push a false narrative that puts every law-abiding citizen and every cop in greater danger.
The day I seen that video, I couldn't finish it past the window breaking.
I've been through what he's been through. To see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22.
You have failed him. You people have failed as parents.
To see that is a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first. And to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone.
All my life I had to fight.
I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my uncles.
That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got him.
Son, you're talking about the God of blackness, not the God of the Bible. And if you knew him, you would not be doing this, and you would have raised your son correctly and called him out in private and in public. Again, you have failed him.
I would simply say this. Thank God he recorded that video. Thank God he recorded that video.
Going for it.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Benjamin Crump. This man has made a career over the past decade of inflaming racial tensions for profit. Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, George Floyd. He's not fighting for justice. He's fishing for payouts.
You watch that video. What is alarming to me is that there are several officers on the scene. And they seem like it was business as usual.
It is. And I think a part of his scheme is to find the most naive, ignorant, and broke people that he can to ensure that they will follow his script. Because at this point, it's all so predictable.
There was no rhyme or reason, no rationale for them stopping him. I mean, this was a classic case of driving while black.
What? And when you see the people who claim to care about Willie Fool, his parents, his community, you will see why. It's culture.
Is there a problem, officer? What the fuck do you want, motherfucker?
And the vultures, they get rich off of it. And that's why they will always defend this. It's their sacred cash cow. When you promote broken homes, disrespect, and constant victimhood, the constant glorification of pimps, hoes, thugs, and rappers, this is what it produces. America has seen this for over 40 years. Police officers all across the nation encounter this every day. They know what the problem is, even if all of them won't or aren't able to freely say it. Again, that's been a blessing of having the relationships that I've made with so many of them over the past 5 years. Go to dinner with them. Sit down and have long conversations about what they experience and what they see, versus listening to these political prostitutes and media whores every day. Vince Ellison is a friend of mine, and he is one of the most important voices in our time. And he's right about so many things, and one of which is why it is important for independent content creators to call these fools out, especially those of us who are black. Because if we don't, white guilt and black greed and envy will destroy this nation. So I love seeing so many of us calling this mess out, because the Afrostocracy does not speak for us.
Guys, it has happened again. Now, some footage goes viral of a black man getting pulled over by police officers. One police officer decides to smash in his car window and hit him in the face, and that black man proceeds to get arrested. Now, many are screaming police brutality, this is America, this is so horrible, they're targeting a black man, and then later on we get body cam footage that tells a drastically different story.
Ben Crump holding this press conference, he's basically messaging to other guys like, hey, you're broke, unemployed, got a little criminal record, disagree with the cops. He's promoting this guy's behavior. of, hey, disagree with the cops, don't cooperate with them. Just keep asking them over and over and over again why you pulled me over, and Ben Crump will show up and we'll cash in together.
It is simple. Comply. You don't want to comply because, the police aren't here to help us. Certain communities say that. And when I say certain communities, I mean my community.
Who in their right mind think that the press conference or the statements in the press conference from McNeil Jr. and his dad, or even Benjamin Crump, make any sense whatsoever?
Reason. Just because some guy decided I was going to post this out of context video online to promote my narrative that I did nothing wrong and that the police took this too far with force and with arresting me for resisting arrest in the first place. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And I just think Ben Crump, he's an ambulance chaser. He goes after money, and I guess he feels like he can win some money for this young man and for himself. And it's a joke. I just don't think that he responded in the correct way, and this should not be an example for others to follow.
So again, use of force is predicated on what the officer deems as reasonable. Folks, when these officers pull you over, the officer doesn't know you. This man had tinted windows also. They don't know you. That guy could have easily, if he had a gun in the car, he could have easily shot that cop. These cops want to go home too. Follow directions. It's as simple as that.
For people who are so upset about this, it's very simple. This doesn't happen if the guy complies. That's it. Everything that the police did was lawful.
And let me say this. The master class to you dumbass black people that continue to fight the police at these traffic stops is your face will hit the pavement and you'll be roughed up. And yes, he deserved a punch.
Shout out to Greg Foreman. He was the one who alerted me to this clip when it first dropped. And I shared with him the ignorance and the brainwashing that is celebrated in the black community can't be fixed. Not in our lifetime. You can't save the collective. You have to get out and live among people that share your values. And that's what we've done. We don't ever want to go back. I don't want to live in a blue county, never mind a blue state. These people show you they are stuck on stupid. Now let's also look at what all of this false outrage causes, because data from the Fraternal Order of Police show over 160 law enforcement officers have been shot already this year. And there have been at least 7 ambush-style attacks that happened after viral lies fueled anti-cop hatred. According to the FBI's data for 2024, agencies reported over 85,000 officer assaults, marking the highest annual rate in the past decade. That's roughly 13.5 assaults per 100 sworn officers. And about 20 to 30% of those assaults lead to physical injury. In Florida alone, thousands of officers are attacked every year, between 6,000 and 7,000. And about 1,500 injuries occur annually from those assaults. See, this fake racial narrative, this gaslighting has real consequences. And officers are being targeted because of lies like the one McNeil pushed. As of this recording, 49 officers have been killed in the line of duty this year. And over half of those are via guns and assault. If Willie Fool really thought he was wrong, why didn't he report it months ago? Why wait until now to drop his edited 30-second clip on TikTok? Because he hoped that the virtue signaling vampires would make it go viral. And he was right. Because it's never been about justice. It's about just us.
And I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
It's always about attention, money, and clout.
While this young man represented the best of us, he kept calm. He was trying to de-escalate the matter. He just kept asking simply, why are you stopping me?
People, enough is enough. It's time to stop rewarding liars, race baiters, and media manipulators. It's time to stop turning criminals into martyrs and stop letting Benjamin Trump hijack justice for a settlement check.
Was it appropriate for the officer to punch this guy in the jaw after he'd already broken the window? Was that, yes or no? Was that appropriate?
It depends on the circumstances. But it's already determined it's not criminal. Now we're going to look for JSO policy violations. How about that? Is that good?
Well, if a civilian did that to another civilian, they would be in handcuffs.
No, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances, the situation. I know that's how you want it to be. I know there's a tendency to want to be some massive cover-up. That is not. That's why I'm here. I stand up, we talk to you about what happened, we give you what we can give you, then it's up to you guys to report it. But
do you think the public is going to buy that?
I don't know. My point is,
Do you think the black community is going to buy
don't use the black thing. Don't use, I'm a black man. Wait, hold on, Eric, hold on, stop for a second. Because you're trying to be incendiary, and this is not the time for it. This is me sharing information with our public, right? The whole statements about the black issue. I wouldn't work here if we're after black men or black people, period. I can tell you he wouldn't. I can tell you any other African American or black male or female that works here wouldn't work here if if our black citizens are under siege. Not the case, not at all. I've been alive probably a little bit longer than you have. Haven't had any of these issues. You know why? Because if I was ever stopped by the police, which I was when I was a young man, and they asked me to do something, I did it. It's simple compliance. It doesn't rise. It doesn't get out of control. That stuff doesn't happen then. Do as we ask you to do. If you don't like the word compliance, just do as we ask you to do then, so that we can get finished. Then you tell us about it if you feel like your rights were violated, and we can deal with it. That's the way it should work.
So to Sheriff T.K. Waters, this mic drop is for you. Thank you for showing courage, for showing transparency, for refusing to let your officers be thrown under the bus by race baiters, lefticals, and poverty pimps that will never, ever, ever walk in the shoes that they do and lay their lives on the line for total strangers. And to every American out there, wake up. If you want safer communities, stand with truth. Stand with peace officers. And if you support law and order, truth, and real justice, share this episode. Speak up. And remember, when they try to silence us with feelings, we'll always answer back with facts.
You know, you probably won't get your ass kicked if you just use common sense.
So that's a wrap for this edition of Facts Over Feelings. I'm your host, Hollywood, standing firm with those who stand behind the badge. Until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and always support our shields.